Hello everyone and welcome back to Fliks Picks, your streamlined Overwatch League analysis and predictions channel. Now before we get stuck into the upcoming week, let's quickly recap last week because my god, what a masterclass we were treated to in week 2. Houston fell on their own sword, Philly ran Torbjorn, the Dynasty and Spitfire went to a game 5, Boston is still yet to win a series, and Dallas Fuel. Need I say more, people? We are finally seeing signs of life from them. Now, if you missed the action last week, I would recommend you check out the Spitfire vs Shock, Valiant vs Uprising, and Fuel vs Fusion games. You'll see a great mix of strategies and incredible individual performances. Taking a look at the stage standings at the end of week 2, we can see New York, Gladiators, and Valiant with perfect runs, followed by Philly and Dallas, who have each dropped one series. Below them, we have San Francisco, Houston, and London with a 2-2, and the bottom third of the leaderboard has Seoul, Boston, Shanghai, and Florida yet to claim a series. Looking at the standings overall, we can see New York, London, the Valiant, Boston, Philly, and the Gladiators all sitting in the top 6 positions to enter the playoffs at the end of the stage, as long as they stay there. And with that intro done, let's talk stats for Stage 4, Week 3, Day 1 of the Overwatch League. To start us off, Game 1 has the New York Excelsior up against the Philadelphia Fusion. They will be fighting it out on Blizzard World, Hanamura, Oasis, and Dorado. The map stats are looking pretty balanced with a slight advantage going to New York because, it's New York. Blizzard World sees a 5-1 to New York and a 5-2 to Philly. Hanamura has a 6-win, 1-tie, 0-loss record to New York and a 7-3 to Philly. The most dominated map of the series is Oasis, going 10-3 to New York, while Philly are evening it out 7-7. And Dorado has New York sitting at a 6 wins, 3 losses, and Philly running 5 wins and 2 losses. If we go to Nepal, it's the same advantage as Oasis for New York, as they have a 9-2 record, compared to Philly's 6-6. As for the team stats in Stage 4, New York Excelsior are averaging per game 6.5 kills and 4.2 deaths, giving them a team average kill-death ratio of plus 2.3, which is the highest in the league this stage. Philadelphia, on the other hand, are averaging per game 6.8 kills and 6.41 deaths, giving them a team average kill-death ratio of 0.39. In their previous meetings, New York has won 3 times to 1, but Philly have taken them to a Game 5 twice. As for their last 9, New York Excel have won their last 9 games, whereas Philly have won 5 and dropped 4. Nothing to talk about externally. New York are just an unstoppable powerhouse. I mean, if you were walking down a dark alley and ran into Dave Bautista in his prime going on some mad steroid-fueled killing frenzy, and this guy, I'd take my chances with Bautista. Now, on the flip side, if you ran into Philly in a dark alley, you'd see them coming a mile away because they're wearing orange, but also because they're just such a predictable team. The Torbjorn strat on Watchpoint Gibraltar aside, this is my biggest gripe with this team. They are a highly skilled team with great synergy, but they are so afraid to stray from what they prepare before they take the stage. This was abundantly clear in their entire series against Dallas last week, mainly their Kings Row attack phase. The moment their momentum stopped, they just kept whipping a dead horse to try and get it back again. And guess what? It didn't work. Now, regardless of what happens this series, New York has top seed overall and it is staying that way. However, they are a highly disciplined team and they are going to keep smashing their opponents every game. But the stakes are high for Philly. They need to get some W's in order to remain in a competitive seed. That being said, New York have only dropped 3 series this season, one of them to the Fusion, so there is a chance that Philly could take a second series from them. But if they play like they did against the Fuel last week, then it's a pretty solid 4-0-3-1 to New York. I'm calling 70-30 to New York, and the community is calling a similar 72-28. Both of us are pretty sure about New York winning, but if Philly does get a win here, it's not going to come as a very big shock to me. Game 2 will see the Seoul Dynasty against the Shanghai Dragons. These two will face off on Kings Row, Hanamura, Lijiang Tower, and Dorado. Now the map pool is more competitive than you might think. Kings Row has Seoul running 2-5, while the Dragons run 2-6. On Hanamura, Seoul has 3 and 5, while Shanghai has 1 tie and 5 losses. Lijiang Tower sees an even run for Seoul, 5 and 5, but a rough 0 and 8 for the Dragons. Finally, Dorado sees another even 3 and 3 for Seoul and 2 and 6 for the Dragons. Now, should we see Nepal, it is basically the same story as Lijiang Tower, 6-6 for Seoul and 0-10 for the Dragons. Each team's individual stats for Stage 4 show Seoul averaging per game 4.21 kills and 6.15 deaths, giving them a team average kill-death ratio of -1.94. The Dragons are averaging per game 3.92 kills and 6.42 deaths, giving them a team average kill-death ratio of -2.5. In the past, Shanghai has always taken a map, but it's been Seoul who has walked away with the win in their last 4 encounters. As for their last 9 games, Seoul has won 2 and the Dragons have not won any of them. Externally speaking, apparently the Dragons have been playing without a translator this stage, as theirs left due to sickness just before Stage 4. Now, while this team represents China, there is an even split of Chinese and Korean players in their main roster, so the need for a translator is paramount. I'm not suggesting that this is the reason behind their performance this stage, because 0 and 34 says it all, but this definitely doesn't help. Now, Seoul have also been having a tough time this stage, but the return of Miro saw their performance improve significantly, as shown by them taking London to a Game 5. While this series was a step up from their previous games, there is still an air of doubt as to how well they are performing. There were reports of Jaehong just devastated and crying after the loss to their rivals, and is quoted saying he might not return to the team next season, so their morale seems to be at an all-time low, and if that wasn't apparent in their games this stage already, it might show now. But the stakes are really high for Seoul as they need a couple of W's at the moment. They're sitting in 7th place overall and just behind 6th place by 1 series. Given their performance lately, it's looking to me that they were waiting for Miro to come back and refresh their confidence in plays. But given their loss to London, I'm getting the sense that they're sort of down and out right now. The community is calling 86-14 to Seoul, but I'm actually going to call 60-40 to the Dragons. Their tanks are performing much better at the moment, their supports are showing us great positioning and clutch moments, and their recent games have showcased how big their DPS players can actually go. Now, the last time I called the Dragons to win was against the Fuel, and I just didn't realize how much the Fuel had improved, but after seeing Seoul's recent form, I think that this finally might be the game for Shanghai. Our final series for the day will be Fliks series to Overwatch, which is basically the game I think you need to see the most today, and it is the Battle for LA. We have the Los Angeles Valiant against the Los Angeles Gladiators. These two will be taking the fight to Blizzard World, Horizon, Lunar Colony, Oasis, and Dorado. Blizzard World shows a 2-4 record for the Valiant, but there is a resounding positivity for the Gladiators, who are 7-0. Horizon Lunar Colony shows a 1-win, 1 tie, and 5 losses for the Valiant, and a 4-3 record for the Gladiators. Oasis sees the Valiant all tied up 6-6, with the Gladiators boasting an 8-5. And Dorado sees the Valiant with their first positive map wins in this pool, 4-3, while the Gladiators have 5-4. Should we see Nepal, both teams running positive, but the Gladiators showing off with a 9-1 record. The stats for Stage 4 show the LA Valiant averaging per game 5.11 kills and 5.74 deaths, giving them a team average kill-death ratio of -0.63. The LA Gladiators are averaging per game 7.35 kills, the most in this stage, and 5.88 deaths, giving them a team average kill-death ratio of 1.47. In their previous matches, these teams have a bit of a juggling act going on as they are all tied up with 3 wins each. In their last 9, the Valiant have won 6 and the Gladiators have won 7. Nothing external to talk about here, both teams are in great form this stage as neither have lost a series yet. So not only will one of these teams suffer their first loss this stage, but the winner will also come out on top in the battle for LA. This will be a great series to watch as both teams, in addition to their masterful mechanical skills, will be bringing a lot of passion to the table. The current meta is working well with both teams, and we've seen each side go big lately with some top-notch plays. The community is finding this game really difficult to call, but they favour the Gladiators 52-48. I also think the Gladiators will take this series, but I'm a little bit more confident with my choice and am calling 75-25. While both teams are playing very well, I think that the Gladiators are a tighter unit. I've been more impressed with their strategies, and their execution of said strats have been much cleaner than the Valiant. This is no doubt going to be a very entertaining series, and I'm super excited for it, but I'm expecting to see the shields up this time. And that's it for day 1, guys. To quickly recap, Fliks picks are New York Excelsior, Shanghai Dragons, and the Los Angeles Gladiators. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Let me know in the comments how you think the day will play out. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, because we still have the rest of the week to talk about, and a prosperous week it is, my friends. Thanks again, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.
But Frankie now needs to back up. He's taking too much damage. Libero found a first pick in the fight, and Seoul would love to add to the heap of skulls.
And they got to get this res off onto Boombox. He has that Transcendence to use, and they finally do.
Boombox now straight into the Transcendence. Poco's mech is removed, though, and there's not much for the Fusion to work with. They're working on fumes.